إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن خير الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدى هدى محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. After praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sending peace and blessings upon His final messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, my dearly respected brothers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made a promise that in the akhirah, the next life, there is a station where the deeds are weighed on the scales, and every person will have his deeds weighed, and those whose scales are heavy have succeeded, and those whose sins outweigh their good deeds on the scale have lost. For the believer, he works in this dunya trying to accumulate as many good deeds he can in hope that his scale in the akhirah is heavy. But what is important to remember, my dear brothers, is that there are certain actions which eat away at the good deeds, certain actions which destroy the hasanat, and what a loss it is for a person to meet Allah Azza wa Jal having performed salah and hajj and umrah and dhikr and tilawa and from the hasanat, and then he has also committed actions which have nullified his good deeds. For we must be cautious from all actions that eat away at our hasanat. And from the worst of actions that invalidates your hasanat or destroys them is ash-shirku billah. Associating partners with Allah Azza wa Jal destroys the good deeds. As Allah Azza wa Jal said, وَلَوْ أَشْرَكُوا لَحَبِطَ عَنْهُمْ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. Allah Azza wa Jal says, and if they commit shirk, then worthless will be what they were performing. What they do will be worthless. So shirk, my dear brothers, is from the actions, the greatest of actions that destroys the hasanat. And it eats away at them the way fire eats away at wood. So we must fear shirk. We must be cautious from falling into shirk, because shirk, my dear brothers, is not limited to being a Jew or a Christian or worshipping Isa alayhi salam or whatever else. No. Shirk is committed even within the Muslim Ummah. People not even realizing, because shirk has many doors. And we must fear shirk, because even the greatest of people, the Anbiya and the Rusul, they feared shirk on themselves. The Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam made a dua, as Allah mentioned, and he said, وَاجْنُبْنِي وَبَنِيَّ أَن نَعْبُدَ الْأَصْنَامِ. O Allah, protect myself and my offspring from worshipping idols. If Ibrahim alayhi salam had the fear of shirk, and he is Abu al-Anbiya and Khalil al-Rahman, then what about us, my dear brothers? We must protect our tawheed. And from the actions that destroys the good deeds is ar-ridda, leaving the fold of Islam. Ridda, my dear brothers, it nullifies all the good hasanat that a person would have committed in their life. As Allah Azza wa Jal said, وَمَن يَرْتَدِدْ مِنْكُمْ عَنْ دِينِهِ فَيَمُتْ وَهُوَ كَافِرٌ فَأُولَئِكَ حَبِطَتْ أَعْمَالُهُمْ فِي الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. Allah Azza wa Jal says, and whoever of you leaves his religion and dies while he is a disbeliever, then his deeds have become worthless. For leaving the fold of Islam destroys the hasanat, just as shirk destroys the hasanat. And a person can leave the fold of Islam in a number of ways. It can happen by a word that he utters, as Allah Azza wa Jal gave that example regarding the ones who mocked the religion in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When Allah Azza wa Jal said, قُلْ أَبِاللَّهِ وَآيَاتِهِ وَرَسُولِهِ كُنْتُمْ تَسْتَهْزِئُونَ لَا تَعْتَذِرُوا قَدْ كَفَرْتُمْ بَعْدَ إِيمَانِكُمْ. Allah Azza wa Jal, He says, say, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, is Allah and His verses and His messenger that yous are mocking. Do not give excuses, for you have disbelieved after your iman. So this shows that ridda, leaving Islam, can happen from a word. So we must be cautious with what we utter, my dear brothers. And ridda can even occur from a belief in the heart, like the one who dislikes or hates anything from Allah's sharia. The one who dislikes the laws of Allah Azza wa Jal, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّهُمْ كَرِهُوا مَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأَحْبَطَ أَعْمَالَهُمْ. That is because they disliked what Allah has revealed, so Allah made their actions worthless. For this is another thing that destroys the hasanat, my dear brothers. But destroying your hasanat is not limited to these huge sins, shirk and leaving the fold of Islam. There are also smaller actions that eat away at your hasanat, like the one who is amazed with himself while he looks down at others, or cause for a person to never be forgiven by Allah Azza wa Jal. As mentioned in the hadith of Jundub radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال أن رجلا قال والله لا يغفر الله لفلان وإن الله تعالى قال من ذا الذي يتألى علي ألا أغفر لفلان فإني قد غفرت لفلان وأحبطت عملك. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that a man said, by Allah, Allah will not forgive such and such a person. So then Allah Azza wa Jal called and He said, who is the one who makes an oath in my name that I will not forgive such and such a person? Allah then says, I have forgiven him and I have made your actions worthless. So this type of arrogance or looking down on others, it prevents or it eats away at your hasanat, my dear brothers. And it is also from the actions that destroys the hasanat, al-man. Al-man, my dear brothers, which is reminding people of the favors that you have done for them. This is an action that eats away at your hasanat. When the person says to someone, I did such and such for you, or I gave you such and such, reminding people of the favor you do for them is not allowed in Islam. And Allah Azza wa Jal says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, la tubtilu sadaqatikum bil manni wal adha. Allah Azza wa Jal says, O you who have believed, do not invalidate your charities. Do not destroy your sadaqah with man, with reminding people of what you do for them. Wal adha, and harm. So this shows, my dear brothers, the one who reminds people of the good he does for them is like he did no good towards them, because he destroys his good deed by reminding the people of the good deed he has done. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين من كل ذنب فاستغفروا إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن سن بسنته وصار على نهجه بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وسلم تسليما كثيرا أما بعد. My dear brothers, there are a number of actions mentioned in the Kitab and the Sunnah which we must be cautious from them so that they do not eat away at our hasanat. From those actions, my dear brothers, is going to a fortune teller, a kahin, going to the one who claims to know the future and to ask him. In one hadith, An-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam taught that whoever asks the fortune teller and does not necessarily believe what he says, then his salah is not accepted by Allah for 40 days. This is the one who asks him without believing him. The prayer is not accepted for 40 days. So the action of asking a fortune teller has destroyed your good deeds. As for the one who believes the fortune teller, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, فَقَدْ كَفَرَ بِمَا أُنزِلَ عَلَى مُحَمَّدٍ صلى الله عليه وسلم. He has disbelieved in what is revealed, what has been revealed to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So believing the fortune teller, it destroys all of the actions. So this is another action the Muslims must be cautious from. And finally, my dear brothers, from the actions that destroy your good deeds is intentionally missing Salatul Asr. The one who misses Salatul Asr has destroyed his a'mal. As the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man taraka salat al-asr faqad habita amalu." Whoever leaves the Asr prayer has destroyed his good deeds. And the ulama have given a number of interpretations towards this hadith. And the scary thing is, my dear brothers, some of the ulama said that this hadith actually means has destroyed all of his actions. And they indicated that this is an action of kufr for leaving one prayer intentionally. This is one understanding of the great scholars. And another common opinion is that his actions for that day are destroyed. His actions for that day are destroyed. And regardless, they are both scary, my dear brothers. Imagine a person waking up and praying qiyam, then he prays the fajr and he recites the book of Allah and he gives sadaqah. He might even be fasting that day and he does so much good and he misses the asr. He invalidates all his good deeds. For we must protect the Asr prayer as Allah Azza wa Jal commanded in the Quran. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to preserve our good deeds for us and allow them to be on our scales in the next life. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to protect us from sin and to forgive us our shortcomings. Allahumma ighfir lil muslimina wal muslimat, al mu'minina wal mu'minat, al ahya'i minhum wal amwat, innaka rabbana qareebun mujibun lid da'wat. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. فاذكروا الله العظيم يذكركم واشكروه على نعمه يزدكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون.